What's it like to get the call on opening night for this team?
I mean, it's definitely a dream come true. I mean, we all sit there dreaming about opening up the weekend on Friday nights as a kid. You come out here and finally make it a reality to be able to do that, help your team get ahead.
Brian? What will you be, like, what are your strengths? What are you going to be trying to do out there? What's going to be important to you when you take the mound?
So what's going to be important to me is just trying to get through as many innings as I can, command of all pitches, just trying to give our bullpen a chance to not have to use a lot of guys that first day so we have more depth later in the weekend.
How about the adjustment from exclusively out of the bullpen last year to starting? What does that look like?
It's a little bit different. I definitely have a lot more time to prepare for the game. It starts at the beginning of the week. It's not the day before, hey, you're available for this weekend, not knowing what day you're going to throw. So it's a little bit less pressure, as you would say, for preparation-wise. I mean, you still have the same amount trying to go in, throw strikes, get people out. But in the long run, I mean, it's different. The mindset's definitely a little bit different. It's not a sit there, have to be locked in the entire game, just hoping you get called. Like, you know for a fact that you're going to go in and just have to do your job.
Mark?
Chase, can you talk about this team and compared to last year's team, maybe things that are alike, anything that are different?
The things that are alike, I feel like we still all mesh together really well. The only difference I would say is we don't have as much experience in the pitching staff. I mean, we got a lot of newer guys with most of our big pieces last year getting drafted, like Burkhalter, Skip. Then we have 2 more starting positions that have to be taken over. And I just feel like everything is finally starting to mesh together, and we're starting to look a little bit more similar to last year.
Brian? What have you seen out of Drew Nelson? What should the fans expect out of him Sunday when he's running?
Out of Drew, I just see a competitor. I mean, he goes out there, puts everything on the line. He's just he does his best. Every day he goes out there, you're going to get his best stuff, even if he doesn't look like it is, but he's going to go out there and compete every day. I mean, he's going to give us the best chance he can.
A lot of starters have preferences as to the uniforms, and they kind of get a choice there. Have you thought about what you want the team to wear tomorrow?
I've been putting a little bit of thought into it. I got it between 2, but I feel like we're probably going to roll out in the all navy on Friday.
Was there? It's dumb, but was there excitement among the team when you found out new uniforms and got to see them for the first time and see kind of the visual refresh?
There was a lot of chatter in the locker room about what the new uniforms were going to look like, because we heard that we were going to have them, and we really didn't see them put together until last week when we came out in the scrimmage and had the all gray and then the blues put together, and it's very visually pleasing to see what they actually turned out to look like.
Mark, the pitching against your teammates in the fall and here in preseason, just general overall impression of the guys that are going to be hitting for you.
There's a lot of good approaches. We don't really have a lot of guys that try to just spin off the ball, trying to see how far they can hit it. I mean, everything is approach driven. So, I mean, there's some really tough at-bats. You have guys like Bobby, and you have Nate LaRue, who, I mean, as our catcher, he really knows us a lot, so it's kind of hard to throw against him. He just really understands sequences. And then, so even the small ball part of it, like, they do a really good job of moving runners, getting the jobs done.
Anything else for Chase?
You typically sit, mid-90s or so. Do you feel like the adrenaline might give you a little bit extra tomorrow night? Are you willing to kind of guess that max velocity tomorrow night?
No, I can't really say on max velocity. I'm not really trying to worry about that right now. But I do feel like the adrenaline does give a little bit extra push, but there's no really saying what it'll be.
Did y'all have any crazy advice for Drew?
The advice for Drew was just picture it, same confidence that you had in high school. I mean, it's the same game. Yes, it's at a little bit bigger stage, but it's the same game you've been playing since you were 5 years old. It hasn't changed. So you just got to go out there and think the same way you did when you were in high school or out here in the fall.
All right, thank you, Chase.
Thanks, Chase.
Thank you.
So going from last year where you're not one of the primary options to start the season and working your way to the lineup, how's it been different this season knowing that not only are you an unquestioned starter, but you're a member of that legacy group?
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's an honor to be a part of that legacy group. Only a few guys get to be a part of it every year, and I think it's really special to me that my teammates and everybody around me voted for me, Kason, and Nate to be a part of that. So it's pretty special. Definitely a little different too this year, kind of knowing like I'm gonna have like more of an important role like going into the season. Like last year, I was kind of trying to find my way and like do whatever I could to kind of fit in. But this year, like I feel like I've really like taken charge and have a good spot.
Brian?
Bobby, have you ever batted leadoff in your career, and is there any change to your approach from last year, switching that position?
Yeah, a handful of times in high school and JUCO. Not a whole lot, but I mean I have before, and it's something that I like. I'm an aggressive hitter. I think it kind of puts a little pressure on the opposing pitchers. Just not really sure what to throw. Like early on in the game, they kind of trying to settle in, so I think it's good. I can go up there and kind of put some pressure early.
And if I may follow up, what's it like being in left field, go from right to left field?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much different here. Of course, it's a little different with the wall and left. I've kind of gotten used to it over the last couple months. I've been over there a little bit. Really haven't touched right field that much just because I've been trying to get used to that wall, but it's something that I think I've gotten pretty used to. I'm ready for it.
Mark?
Can you talk about how this year's team is different than last year's and ways you might be similar?
Yeah, I mean, similarities really. I mean, I think last year at this point in time, we really didn't know like certain pieces where guys were going to go, like starting pitching, relief pitching, lineup, like really all that. Like I feel like we're in a similar spot right now. Like we have a lot of talent from 1 through 9, starting pitchers, relief pitchers. We just kind of need to figure out like who's going to play their role essentially. And I think it was very similar to last year. We had a lot of new guys come in last year, and same for this year, where we really didn't know like. We didn't know Sonny was going to be Sonny. Like that was a big thing. And guys like Rambo and Brooks Carlson, I mean, guys that were in the heart of the lineup, like we didn't know that at the beginning of the year that they were going to be like that. So I think it's kind of similar to this year, where we have a lot of new pieces, and at the same time, a lot of veteran guys too. So I would say it's fairly similar to last year.
Stoltz?
Bob, how fun is it to open with a Big Ten opponent and then going out to USC and playing a Pac-12 power instead of playing maybe like, lesser opponents to start the season?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good test early. It's definitely gonna show who we are early on, and will help us grow a little bit faster than maybe previous years. I mean, last year we got to go to Arlington, which was awesome, but I think having a good non-conference schedule is something that's really good for our program.
Justin Kirby, what is he bringing to you guys, and what's he going to bring to, I guess, the outfield in particular?
Yeah, I didn't even know him when he first got here, but he's a really good hitter. A lot of power. He's got a good arm, and he'll be playing right field primarily, at least at the start. He's my throwing partner too, so I mean I've gotten to know him pretty well. But yeah, he'll be a really good addition to our lineup and in the outfield.
I've heard a lot about the personality too. Is he a pretty funny guy?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the more talkative guys we have in the clubhouse. But yeah, I mean he's a really good guy, really good teammate. Just kind of a guy that's always there for you. You can always talk to him. I mean he's awesome.
Brian?
What have you seen of Ike so far, and are you impressed, his approach as a freshman?
Yeah, I mean for how young he is, coming straight out of high school, like if I looked at him right now and I didn't know who he was, I would think he's a junior or a senior. Like he's super advanced for his age. I mean, really good approach, really good eye, a lot of power. I mean, hits for average. I mean, he really does everything at the plate. So it's really impressive to see that for a freshman.
And I could follow up, Bryson Ware. I know he's had his ups and downs, but what do you think it means to him to have a good couple weeks and earn that starting job at third?
Yeah, I'm super happy for him. I mean, he was my roommate for 2 years. We got pretty close, and he's definitely had his ups and downs, like you said. But I think he's really starting to figure it out. I mean, he's in there hitting and working out pretty much more than anybody, honestly, and just trying to figure out how to get back to himself. And really, the last couple months, he's starting to look like who he really is, and it's awesome to see that. I'm really happy for him.
Lindsay?
For your impressions of Chris Stanfield and how he's come in and what he could bring to this outfield if he is needed as a fourth outfielder this year?
Yeah, I mean he's a super talented kid too. For a freshman too, he's definitely a little more advanced than a typical freshman would be. He's a really good hitter too. He's got a lot of tools. I mean he can run balls down the outfield. He's got a good arm. At the same time, really good teammate too. I mean that's a big thing. Like he's one of the guys in the locker room that's just he's a good guy, and that really means a lot. So he's definitely a guy that I'm glad we have in the outfield with us.
Quick follow-up. You're kind of known for being one of the faster players on the team. Have the two of you ever faced off to see who actually is faster?
No, we really never raced, honestly. But really, none of us. I don't know why we don't more often. Because guys don't really know that I'm that fast just because kind of the knee problems I've had. But I can definitely get it up there with like Kaysen or Chris, Josh, Bryson. I mean any of those guys. So I'm kind of sneaky fast. But we've never actually raced.
How does Kirby's arm compare to yours?
I think we both know I have a better arm, but but no, he has a really good arm. I'm gonna say I have a better arm than anybody, just because that's just what I think. But yeah, he's got a cannon. I mean it's something you guys will see pretty soon, but it's awesome.
All right, thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Just talk about how it is to start the season tomorrow and the expectations and having probably a pretty good Indiana team coming in for the first weekend of the year.
We're excited. These guys are excited. You could tell in their rhythm. Last Thursday, we really started playing some good, consistent baseball. We've been driving cattle for a long time with so many new people. And, we talk about, man, you want the practice to be for the coaches and the game to be for the players. And I think we're to that point. So many question marks for new people. I've seen us rank between 17 and 300 in every preseason poll out there and everywhere in between. And I think that's fair. You lose 5 pitchers in the top 12 rounds. So even if you do bring in a top 10 class, even if you have 5 freshmen in the top 100, those are all just it's guesswork. And I'm excited about the season and our players to play somebody else. The guesswork goes away tomorrow. We'll know more come next Monday than we've known for months who we are. I think Indiana matches us very well. They're led by a great head coach. Jeff Mercer is a good man in our industry. They have 7 of their 9 position players back. They have real power. They have an 18 home run guy, a 19 home run guy. They got 2 or 3 guys that can absolutely steal a base if you're not aware of how to stop the running game or to slow it down a little bit. Big swings if you make cripple pitches or don't get into some good sequencing of quality, you'll pay for it. They've done that in the past. I like our lineup. I like the length potential of our lineup. But if you're going to maybe hit Bobby Pierce, maybe a 3-hole type hitter, if you're going to lead him off, what does that lineup look like? I'm excited about it, but until it really goes out there against somebody else, it's hard to know. When you're playing each other all the time, it's almost I liken it to professional baseball. When you're in a division, you play the same teams over and over. Like, we'll go see them again in 3 weeks, and our guys know each other. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. It's going to be good to see somebody else. We're going to face 2 left-handed starters, and if that's the case, man, we'll be able to run 5 lefties off the bench because we might only start 2 of them in the game. So I'm rambling and going with all that to say is, like, we got some guys that deserve to go play somebody else. I do believe in our roster. We got over 40 years of SEC, not just Division I experience within our coaching staff. And then I think the players have done a great job. We got 3 captains that I believe in. Kaysen Howell is our amazing captain. Nate LaRue, who earned that job last year as a catcher. I'm looking forward to seeing him have a full year starting day 1. And Bobby Pierce only has 38 games of stats, but they were pretty exciting if he can lengthen that out for a full season. And that's who our team elected as our captain. So we got great leadership. We got some exciting young players. And the schedule, to me, is daunting. I think us and Indiana look just alike. I think, they're coming in with some new pitching pieces and a veteran offense. I think they're excited about their pitching pieces. just like we are. But we really don't know what we have until we go out there and compete. And then I think we'll keep getting better, regardless of what happens this weekend. I think Auburn will get better because right now it's the coaches are making the lineup out because we've just had a glimpse from January the 12th till now. And we're going to try to put the best team out there, understanding there's going to be pieces made because between tomorrow and as we go each weekend, we'll gain so much. When the players start making the lineup out, it'll be a better team till we shift to that. And hopefully get them off to a good start where there's minimal movement. But we're going to be matched athletically from game one. That's not always the take. It helped us last year to go to Arlington. First game of the year, you're playing a team that was one of the last two standing for a championship, national championship, at Texas Tech, and we all know what kind of ball club that is. So I think we're seeing the benefit of playing good people early. It helps us get our team going.
So, Allsup, Gonzo, Nelson for the weekend. Nelson and Crunchville seem to go head-to-head a lot in the SWAT games. What led you to picking Nelson over Crunchville for Sunday?
Yeah. I thought Bauman has probably thrown the baseball the best, and he didn't get one of them either. I just think this early season, nobody in college baseball is ready for somebody to go 7 innings. We see this as 2 guys trying to get you 6 or 7. So I thought Tanner Bauman's actually thrown the best, and I'm using him as when to drop him in a game. Is it Friday or Saturday? As what's the best opportunity for maybe our best guy to throw? And that's not one of the 3 starters. Gonzalez just faced hitters for the first time this past Sunday, so I wasn't real excited after those 2 innings and everything went great. I wasn't excited about cutting 2 days out of him and putting him on Friday. Now that the week's going on, I kind of like him at Saturday because last year he threw Sunday. So setting in Saturday, and he probably is our closest thing to a diesel engine to feel like he could run the most innings in a start, at least the track record of it. So maybe you want that on Saturday to give the pen a day of rest when you have new pieces, because I always keep thinking about Skipper and Burkhalter as much as I think about the beginning. I think we start by thinking about the end in mind. And so we got some people back there, and maybe that's the right day for Gonzalez. Allsup started, I think, our fall game against Alabama. Is that correct? I think we've been pushing from those 20-plus appearances last year, all out of the bullpen. We've been trying to make him a starter from day one. I'm hoping this gives him a boost of confidence. And then maybe Bauman comes behind him, but we're looking for 2 guys each day. Chase Isbell is deserving. The Crotchfelt Nelson, I guess I'm answering that backwards, where they both earned a spot. And if Crotchfelt comes right behind or as the Tuesday starter, it's good either way. And we've really tried to tell some of these older guys that we want to see some of these younger guys and see, are they ready to pitch good baseball now? And when you see a young one like Nelson, you got to know that there's an experienced guy right around him. So Isbell's got his back, or Sheehan's got his back. So we're packaging it that way, but we have to announce starters, I guess, to appease everybody, the opponent, the SEC, you guys. But we're really seeing this as 6 pitchers trying to get to 4 guys in the back is what we're trying to do. And I don't know if the most critical part of the game is going to be in the first inning. It absolutely can be. Or if it's going to be the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. At least some youth early and they don't go your way, at least you have more innings of recovery. Might be a way to look at this. So I'm just asking those guys to sincerely open and then get to another guy that potential, because in 3 weeks from now, everybody at Piggyback might be in those spots. But I don't want it to be because of health or anything like that. I want good, solid opportunities and allow these guys for 2 or 3 weeks to get after it. And then everybody's pitch count will be built up in 3 weeks. And hopefully the players are making the lineup out, and maybe a couple more pieces can strengthen us and go another place. But it was hard with Crotchfelt and Nelson. But that's what we'll do. But I would imagine they're both going to get a start here in these first 4 games.
You mentioned kind of the experience of Indiana, but especially with a lot of guys who need to get experience out of the pen or on the mound. Just how valuable is it to get those guys right off the bat going up against such an experienced lineup?
Yeah. we won't sneak by with anything. If we do good, that's going to be against a good lineup in Division I baseball. So there's no faking it. There's no, like, if somebody goes out and pitches really good, I'm like, all right, this is going to feel like an SEC weekend for our ball club and so many people that are going to get first experiences. This is an SEC lineup that we're facing. Bat speed, exit velocity, metrics, number of at-bats. We're facing an SEC lineup that presents a lot of challenges. So, and then if somebody doesn't look ready, it can conversely do the same thing. But the positive is if you go out and do well this weekend, I think you're making believers out of your clubhouse, more importantly. But even our people, the fans, the people that are watching us close, that, all right, this guy can have success because he had success this weekend. Sometimes it's, hey, we'll wait and see. We'll see if he does good later on. But you can tell the last few years how our schedule's really changed. This RPI thing, it's advantageous to go on the road. When I got here, we committed to being all 4 weekends at home. Now we're taking that one weekend out of those 4 and hitting the road, because there's more value right now in an RPI situation as the program's built up and we're positioning for something. So you're seeing us start doing that each and every year. And then we thought it was important to keep playing good people early, because we'll have Lipscomb in Southeast Louisiana, who was one of our teams in our regional too. So Georgia Tech back on the schedule. Those are great RPIs. Those are tough games, and one's here and one's up there. And then, of course, the 30 SEC games. So it's a challenge. But if you pitch good this weekend, confidence comes from acquiring skill. If somebody does good this weekend, that absolutely should be counted in the confidence and not having to wait to do it against somebody else. That's how much respect we have for Indiana.